This is a poem that I wrote over Thanksgiving break. It's called Dissection of a Turducken. A turducken starts with a cage. It is a flesh-cased cage of emerging talons and meat with the inner musculature of teeth, sighting to dig into itself, but also spreading vertically into the mittened air with an undulating murr. The cage envelops a bloated brush, a curtained ruddy vermin, a crass-boned breast caramelized on the juices of a bird's nest. Sausage releases its gelatin into the black velvet, and a nitrate bursts its furs into the grips of a runny nose. Wetted fringe of a quilt carries on like trumpets settled into the cracked base. And inside this quilt is a porous being, a cancerous soup like milkshake smashed into a piranha's forehead, nudged righteously like a courtroom funeral. This is a revelation, a practiced disclosure of the wings, catapult a sifted energy and release. Release the pins of one succulent muscle, the sweet virginal bile of a fat but undiscovered phallus. Uncan the fried fission, a brutality fermented into the yolk of a brittling deafness. Within the brittling deafness stands a gorged mattress, a job well done in its vomited smile. Truth is exposed under the toenails of welded cotton, trussed together with an unexitable teardrop and its fetid residue. Hunt downward into the cracks of dry water, follow the broken glass into the ruby ulcers, a love that never cedes to smell its own breath. The breath is picked apart by sand-filled fingernails, and inside is a rutabaga in fetal position. The rutabaga curls its roots outward, jerking a silent cry above hefty dark waters. At this, you shake with a soiled freedom, and you hurtle your gut up wondrous at the waves of jaundiced purple that glaze over your eyes, and you fall back onto the frozen tile of the bathroom floor. Today is Thanksgiving. Dinner was hours ago. Your stomach falls red with its grinding loop, and you realize how lost you still rumble as you hunt yourself into a jagged trip. I guess I'll just read one more poem. Actually, I'm going to read a really short thing that I have for a beginning of a story that I just want you guys to hear. It's called The Early Age of Debts. The girl was an expert at silently farting in public. She was Chinese-American, with floating pigtails a little too short to feel sustained. They flailed nobly with her every movement. She always had on a hoodie from her favorite store, the store that sells hot pink hoodies with off-white frilly pull strings and a false bronze zipper and a heaving frumpy front of giant cursive letters. Today, her hoodie said, "Amaze yourself." It was a little rumpled and crusted with yogurt and pizza, but she always kept her hands buried deep inside the warm firmament of the middle pocket. It was her home. When she walked, it was as though her spine was curved into an S, making her seem like she was akin to falling backward constantly, but the 90-degree angle at which her head bobbed was the precise mechanism that kept her body afloat. From the waist up, she was like a cobra, but her legs were tilted forward like a failing ladder. She shuffled her baggy jeans and silver-streaked bobble sneakers around every surface on which she could move, or her bulgy presence. Her imaginary mother tells her that her gait is a gift from the early age of debts. And then, really quickly, this is a poem called The Firmament of Language Lost. Every day I walk upon unwaxed wooden floors. Home is where I feel the chaptered resistances. And the streets is where the bookends forget to meet. I walk upon a crinkled sidewalks, prisoner of the proper English mind. Mr. Theodore tells us to speak softly and carry a big stick. But I can't unearth any new strength. My anger is unfortified, my hate unforked like jarred dams, cut and gashed by heavy paper, knives of clinical white, and boom, I've been silenced. My head is forced deep into the urine of xenophobic contours. You coax my mouth into chloroform. Your dialogue croaks into a stale yellow cake, smashed like a plate of china, crushing both my jaws, clenching my thyroid strings, tearing the underridden sidewalks of my tongue. The erasure of a real tomorrow is an exercise of real pain, a real neighborhood of racist histories, of a still fertile genocide, a godforsaken story of a land. The anger of the jugular is forgotten. Yellow fever is cured. We suck out from our veins with needles, like reverse mosquitoes, like post-penetrative existences. The longest river in history is denial. Every day you fetch the pail of water, you keep your crown and break it too, high up on your city upon a hill. No one can see you, and the whites of your eyes are blinded, and the earth shakes its silent burden, because locusts eat history alive, and yellow fever is cured, and the rectum of history is cleared.